What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Appreciate you guys tuning in for another video. Well, first off, if you guys are new to the channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button. You know, we're pumping out a bunch of videos right now, 3 a week, and it's all good bass fishing content. So if you don't want to miss out on any future videos, make sure you hit the subscribe button. So I got Brittany with me today. We're going to talk about all the new forward-facing sonar regulations. You know, if you were living under a rock last week,
or like the last year,
it seemed like last week will go down in history as the live scope week of bass fishing, because all 3 leagues, NPFL started it, bass came out on Wednesday, Major League Fishing on Friday. So it was Monday, Wednesday, Friday. All 3 leagues came out with a ruling, a restriction, a regulation, announcement,
yeah.
Something about live scope or forward-facing sonar last week. So that'll go down in history as the live scope week in bass fishing. So I just wanted to give you guys my thoughts on what affects us personally. You know, we fish with Major League Fishing, so that's what affects me. To be honest, you know, whatever the other leagues do, that's up to them. I don't really mind too much. I'm not fishing them. You know, I watch them a little bit, and it is what it is. I don't really mind watching it. But I just wanted to give you guys my thoughts on what affects us personally, you know, whether it be the Bass Pro Tour, the Invitationals, the Toyotas, whatever that we may fish next year. But I wanted to give you guys our thoughts on that, and I brought Brittany along to get a little different point of view, get her side of things.
Fan perspective.
Yeah, and see what she thinks about this whole thing. So let's just jump right in. I needed a sip of coffee before I could get into this. Read our papers. Okay, so like I mentioned, we had a meeting with MLF on Friday afternoon. And they kind of went through everything with us about the new regulations. So
should you go backwards and start at the high school and then go back up?
No.
Okay.
We're starting with this right here. So this is league wide. This is Major League Fish. Every tournament in Major League Fishing next year goes by these equipment regulations. So basically, they kind of went through and measured, you know, heights of different graphs and different boats and came up with these regulations. And this is really a safety thing, is majority of what this is so that there is now a restriction on the height of graph off of the deck of the boat. So in the front of the boat.
When on plane.
Yeah, when you're driving.
Yeah.
You can raise it up once you're fishing, but
yeah.
It has to be lowered when you're driving the boat.
Well,
so it's kind of gonna be like the life jacket roll, where if you're, you know, the motor's running and you're rolling, your graphs have to be below 18 inches off of the front deck of the boat. So I went and measured mine immediately after this meeting just to see what we were dealing with. And with my trick mount and the way that I have my unit set up this year, it's at exactly 18 inches off the deck of the boat. So I fall perfectly right under that category. But that is a new rule league-wide. You know, BFLs, high school, whatever. Off of the front deck of your boat, the highest point of your graph can be 18 inches when you're driving the boat.
And they said specifically the front deck, not the hull. So if it's like mounted up, it's got to be off the front deck. So
yeah, where the front deck is.
Yeah, put that caveat in there.
Yeah,
well, I know, but like the
mounted,
shroud, yeah.
Yeah, it can be mounted a little higher, so
yeah.
It measures off the front deck and up. And then there's the same regulation at the console, so it can only be 16 inches off of the steering wheel column. So where it comes out of the console, you measure from the top of there to the top of your units, and it can only be 16 inches. And of course, I went and measured the same thing on my current boat, and it was just under 16 inches. So, and I have a 16-inch Lowrance on my console, or 2 16 Lowrances on the console right now, and it came just under that 16-inch mark. So I feel like it doesn't really regulate anything that I currently have. What is that? A moth?
A moth.
Jeez. So basically that, you know, any 16-inch unit is fine to run under that. You know, you can't put a big 24-inch, 22-inch unit at the console because it'll stick up higher than the regulation. But
Well, I think they didn't want people like mounting two like on top of each other or something.
Yeah,
or
I mean,
two and a third or something like that. So
safety becomes
you
an
couldn't
issue
see.
when you can't see. You
Yeah.
can't drive a boat. Well, you could drive a boat, but you can't drive it well if you can't see.
Yeah.
I feel like you have to see before you can drive.
Like rule number one.
But the third regulation that came down, and this one does affect me a little more, compared to my current setup, is you can only, but all boats are limited to 2 forward-facing or 360 transducers in any combination. So that means you could have 1 live scope and 1 360, 2 live scopes. You could have 2 360s if you wanted, but you can only have 2 of those in combination. So I've been messing around with all different configurations this year. At one point, I had 5 live scopes on the boat. Well, three live scopes, 3 live scopes, and 2 active targets. So, like, I've had I've had over the limit on my boat this year. So that will no longer be permitted. You're only allowed 2. So I'm still unsure on how I'm going to rig my boat for next year. Once this came out on Friday, that's really the first thing that I've really started thinking about was, what do I want to rig my boat with next year? This kind of, having these regulations, it makes everybody have to get more creative. And, for me, I'm all about efficiency. So I want to have things that have multiple uses. I'm still unsure on that. So you guys are going to have to stay tuned and see how we rig the 2025 boat. But, it'll obviously be a little different than we did this year.
Which I don't mind. One, I don't mind any of these, but I don't mind the regulation mainly for, I would say, everyone coming up. Like, I think it affects, I don't necessarily think, like, BPT should have the same regulations, just like NFL shouldn't have the same regulations that, like, a high school football team does. But I do like that they put a regulation on it, mainly because of high school, college, everyone coming up. It can get really expensive, and I mean, he knows better than anyone, trying to stay on top of that stuff, especially when you're like mowing lawns for the money, or you're trying to use your tournament winnings to come back into fishing or anything like that. Like, it can get really, really expensive. Or if you're just struggling to get captains for the boats that you have for the high school team, some of them might have transducers, some of them might not. So I think that the regulation, like, across the board is, I think, helpful to the sport outside of the professionals, if that makes sense. I think it's good that it's regulated all the way across, but I definitely think it's good for everyone coming up, instead of them trying to, take out second mortgages or, a first mortgage, I guess, because they are high schoolers, but, like, take out
yeah, but you
more
don't
money.
You don't need to have any of it. That's my thing, is you don't need. All you need is a good work ethic.
Well,
you can get by with one transducer and compete the same as someone with 6 transducers. That doesn't matter, but it gets rid of the perception.
Yeah, I was about to say it's the perception.
Some people, they get in their head and think because they don't have all this stuff that someone else does that they can't compete, and this just kind of evens the playing field. So that'll be good.
Well, that's exactly what I'm saying, because say a high school or a college guy is watching what everyone has on their boat, and like he said, he does it for efficiency. So, like, we've messed around with lots of different combos of transducers, had them on the back of the boat, front of the boat, side of the boat, whatever, and these younger guys see all of that and they assume it equals what success you've had. I don't necessarily think they are only assuming that, but because of the regulation, I think it is helpful. Like, they'll focus on something different other than what is on their boat. They can focus on, just getting fish in their boat.
Yeah, so that will apply all the way down, the league wide. So Bass Pro Tour all the way to BFL, high school, college angler. So that'll be cool to see how that plays out next year. But moving on to the Bass Pro Tour, which will affect us the most, is now we have a new rule regarding forward-facing sonar. So we can only use the two transducers that we have on the boat, whether it be one live scope and one 360 or two live scopes, whatever it may be. We can only use those for one period out of our 3-period day. So right off the bat, 2/3 of our entire season is going to be without live scope. That's pretty wild to think about. You know, I started thinking back, and literally I have not fished a tournament since 2019 that I haven't had a 360 or a live scope on my boat for the entire tournament day. So it's going to take us back.
Yep.
It's going to be interesting for sure. You know, it's going to be really cool on a strategy side of things. You know, this is something that, you know, I love the strategy side of things, and this is really going to amplify that. I mean, this is going to come down to, you know, when do I use my one period that I can use live scope?
Yeah, because they can choose what period. So they have to choose before the period starts, but they choose the period. It's not just everyone at the front, everyone at the, you know, first, second, third.
So you can choose which period you want to use it, and you have to let your official know before the period begins. So whether it's before lines in for first period, or, you know, during the first period break or the second period break, you have to let your official know. And then there will be kind of a interactive, what do they call it?
It's a cover.
No. What do they call it? A graphic indicator that will be present on the live stream and the score tracker. I envision it as like a
little on button.
Yeah, like a green light, a red light, a yellow light, where basically it's like, this is the period I'm using my live scope. I've already used it, and there'll be another indicator, and then there'll be another indicator where you haven't used it yet, and you're saving it for. So, like, I envision there'll be 3 different indicators.
It's like the timeout graphic on sports games. You know, they have however many timeouts they've used this or haven't used this. I wanted to clarify. So I was thinking about this before we got on the podcast. I wanted to clarify because I saw some comments that were like, you know, Major League Fishing making it more confusing. I think people forgot this next year we are going to everyone fishing all of the days that they're qualified for. So there's no more A and B. So everyone fishes day 1, everyone fishes day 2. So I actually think it's going to cut down, that in general will cut down on the confusion of who's fishing what day, but whether the light is on or not, I actually think it will bring a ton of clarity around what's going on and who is using it, who is not using it. But I don't think there will be as much confusion as some of the people in the comments were saying that there would be.
You got to stay out of the comments.
Oh, I know. But I like to see, like, get a pulse on, like, what people are thinking. And actually, like, people were overwhelmingly positive about it, which I was kind of surprised. But I just wanted to clarify that. So next year, everyone, it's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And everyone fishes Thursday, Friday. So...
Yeah, the format will be a little different heading into 2025.
Yeah, but that was like previous.
As we shrink the field down, you know, it'll be 65 anglers next year, and then 50. Cut down to 50 for the following year. But that's another topic we can get on someday.
Well, yeah, I just wanted to clarify, like, it'll be everyone.
We can only use it for one period a day, and the other 2 periods that you're not using it, the transducers have to be covered with, they're going to provide us
a little hat.
A cover for the transducers so that there's, you know, no way that you could accidentally turn on your unit or whatever it may be to, you know, try and...
Which I don't really know how you would accidentally.
Yeah, exactly. But you're going to have to cover your transducer the 2 periods you're not using it. So
it's so everyone else really can see that if you're running by or whatever.
It's interesting. And the other thing is we'll be able to ask our official if we see, there's Spencer Sheffield over there. Like is he using his live scope this period, or is he saving it? Like, we'll be able to know that information from our boat official. So that'll be cool that they have that info, and we could ask about that if if we so choose.
Yep.
For me, I mean, I really don't care what's going on out there. Like, I barely even look at the score tracker. Like, I just care about what I'm doing. I want to know where I'm sitting in relative to everybody else. But, like, I don't care what everyone else is doing. You know, I'm going to do my thing, and it is what it is, you know?
Do you think so? For me, this regulation, again, like he said, as a viewer, like I don't think it's gonna change my love for watching at all. I'm just excited to see who uses it when. Like, I think that will be a cool part. Like he said, going into the strategy, but as a like significant other, I think it's going to put a ton of onus on the anglers, like pre-practicing and researching.
Don't tell anybody that.
Well, I'm saying.
No, we can't tell anybody that.
Why?
No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, I was like,
I
what?
mean, yeah, it's
well,
going
no,
to...
I'm saying because, like, I think it'll add a ton. Like, we already do.
No, it's like it is 100% going to add a ton of strategy, and you're going to have to work substantially harder to do well. I mean, not that it was, you know, you hate to say that it's ever easy or, you know, like...
Well, not easy, but it allows you to break down the lake faster.
Yeah, now it's... you're... Well, going back, let's take a step back. We're allowed to use it throughout the entirety of practice.
Yes.
We can use it for the whole practice, which we don't know exactly what practice we'll have yet, whether it's a day and a half or 2.5 days, but regardless, we'll be able to use all the technology throughout practice. It's only during the tournament that we can only use it one period a day.
Yeah.
But definitely, you know, with the strategy side of things, you know, only being able to use it for one period, it's going to open up different techniques, and that's where I think the pre-practice is going to come into play a lot more. You know, it's going to take a lot more work to, you know, the more information you can gain about a lake, the better. And you're going to be able to use and run multiple different patterns in the same day. And that's what it's going to take to do well, I think. You know, you're not going to be able to just do one thing throughout the entirety of the day. You're going to have to mix and match and, you know, kind of, you know, change up different things. So it's going to be fun to watch, I feel like, for the fans, you know, because it's going to be a lot of different things. You know, you're going to see a lot more different techniques. You're going to see, you know, top waters come back into play and, you know, running the bank with a crankbait, a jig, a chatterbait, that kind of stuff. Like, you're going to see a lot more of that because
mixed in for sure.
Yeah. Well, it's going to slow the pace down and the weights down. Like, you know, I feel like it goes without saying that the catch rates will not be as high as they previously were.
Yeah.
Using forward-facing sonar for the entirety of the day. So it's going to slow down, you know, the amount of fish going on the score tracker. So you're going to be able to use those different techniques and kind of keep pace and catch a few fish here and there and kind of maintain if you need to, you know. So it's going to open things up as far as that. You know, I think you'll see a lot of fish caught on baits that you haven't the last couple of years.
Yeah. I think that part will be cool. Kind of going along with that. I think that, so kind of thinking through this decision, because everyone's like, why'd they do this or why'd they do that? Like, I was thinking through it because Matt and I talked, like, if, you know, they wanted, meaning if the fans or whoever wanted no live scope, like, why not just split it down the middle and do events entirely without it and events with it? But when I was thinking through it, that I think would defeat the purpose of them making sure that the entirety of the event was still enjoyed by everyone. I think this decision will make it so, one, you really never know who's going to have it and who's not, like when they're going to choose, until you see that light pop up. You'll have some anglers that are on with it and aren't with it. So live-wise, you get kind of a diversity. And I feel like if they did all no live scope events, it wouldn't have the same, like he said, catch rate throughout the day. I think it would be, you know, it would have its ebbs and flows, which would be a little bit difficult for the live stream. Like, I actually, after thinking through it, because like he said, we got this news on Friday, so it's now what is it, Monday.
Yeah, we took the weekend to think about it before we made any video. And
Yeah.
I wanted to really think through it and
Like, I do
process
think
everything before we made a knee-jerk reaction video. I wanted to really think through it. And, I'm not going to lie, when I first heard about, the rumors that this was going to happen, we kind of had heard about this for the last month or so, that this may be happening, through the grapevine. But I was actually against it. I really wanted to see more no scope events.
Yeah,
just hold
entire
like half
events.
the schedule. Whether it's stage 1, 3, 5, and 7, or stage 2, 4, 6, to be total no live scope events. But after thinking through it, I think I like it better how we have it, because it gives
brings
a
a
diversity to each event, and more strategy involved. And, at the end of the day, weather's the biggest factor. So, if you had an event that was slated for a scope event and the weather ruins it, well, then you just wasted your entire, scope event, or not wasted it, but, it just totally changes things. And, like I said, I wasn't a fan when I first heard about it, but it's growing on me a little bit, and I think it really could be good for the fans and the viewers. And we'll see. I'm curious your guys' thoughts, so make sure you drop them in the comments below what you think about it.
I know. I can't wait to see how it all works with the first event. One, having everyone fish the same days, because that's a larger field than they've really ever had, because it's always been 40. So now 65, but then also, how they decide to use it. Do you think you would probably use it more at the beginning, or do you think it'll really depend on the event?
I have no idea.
Sorry, going down a wormhole there, but I'm curious.
I have no idea. It depends on, I mean, that's what I'm going to,
Yeah.
It's another thing that we're going to have to figure out in practice is, when do we want to use it?
Yeah, because if it's a morning bite and you don't need to use it because it's a spot.
You got different patterns you can run in the morning versus the afternoon. And I mean, it adds another tier, level of strategy throughout practice to figure out.
I feel like you're going to need a notebook.
No, it's all up in here.
You don't want to take little notes?
No, it's all up in my brain.
Oh,
you just
I'm
remember
a notebook
those
fan.
things. It just adds another level of focus and intensity to practice now. There's absolutely no goofing off in practice. You have to be 100% focused on every little detail and, figure out this bite, mid-morning for period 2. There's a lot of different levels to this, a lot of different strategy to doing well in this format. And, I'm excited for the challenge. I mean, I kind of mentioned it earlier, not that it was, it's never easy. I don't want to use that word, but I'm not going to lie. It was just kind of a little stagnant, kind of knowing that, we're going to this event and this is all I have to do to, I'm just going to live scope around and find the fish I need to do well in this tournament. But now it really kicks your butt in gear, because there's a lot more patterns in play, a lot more things. And it's definitely going to open things up. So I'm excited about it. I'm looking forward to it. I like I said, it's just a little kick in the butt to get out there and work hard again and really try and figure out multiple different patterns, break down fisheries different ways. So I think it's going to be really cool. So we'll see how it goes.
I know. I'm a little nervous because he already I don't think you guys really understand how much work he puts into this. So seeing it basically crank up another notch, and like I said, our schedule is already so full. It is, it's just going to be packed. I think that's exciting. Bringing the focus back on truly figuring everything out, making sure your schedule is just packed with bass fishing, and really there's going to be no time for anything else. So
yeah. I do like it. It's all I've been thinking about lately, to be honest. I found myself waking up in the middle of the night thinking about, how am I going to catch him at stage 5 at Chickamauga or whatever. I don't remember what, stage 4, Chickamauga, in the second period without live scope. I've woke up over the weekend thinking about that in the middle of the night. So it's it's on my brain, and I'm thinking, and we're gonna put our work in, and I'm excited about it. But that's not the only rule. So going to the Tackle Warehouse Invitationals, instead of limiting it to half a day, or a third of the day like the Bass Pro Tour, they have mixed things up again. So day 1, full use. Day 2, not allowed at all. Day 3, it's back on. So this one I'm not so sure about. Not gonna lie. It kind of goes back to what I thought about with the schedule. The no scope events versus what we ended up with, and this is one where it's I get it. It's gonna be even across the board for everybody throughout the entirety of the season. So there is a standard set, going into the event that day 2, every event is going to be a no scope event. So it's very interesting. My only concern with this would be weather, or if you get a bad weather day, it shortens the event. Like we had Champlain this year, it shortened the event. I don't know. It's not really that big of a deal, I guess, just because you could extend the event, or if you cancel it, it's the same. It's equal playing field. But I don't know. I am.
Do you like that they chose day 2 for the no scoping and 360, or would you have rather?
I don't know.
Day 1 be.
Day 2s are generally tougher to begin with.
Yeah.
So now you're adding another level of toughness to it.
That's what I was asking.
It's definitely going to drop the catch rates and the the weights.
Yeah.
But it's even across the board. So I'm interested to see how that plays out. I'm still on the fence if I'm going to fish them or not. I'm considering it for sure. There's a few little details we got to work out, and like we just mentioned, I feel like I have to work harder on the Bass Pro Tour now. So I want to make sure I'm not taking away any focus from that, because that's the main priority. Is obviously winning Angler of the Year is the goal every year. So that's the number one focus on that. So if I'm going to take away any effort or energy from the Bass Pro Tour with the Invitationals, then I feel like I don't need to. But we kind of got to lay out the whole calendar and schedule and everything, and kind of plan it out from there. But I don't know. That's just
we got the big calendar and put the events on. So that's part 1. Now we gotta lay out everything else, part 2, and then we can see what events kind of fit in there.
It's early yet. It's still September. We don't have to sign up for any of these for another month or 2, so we got plenty of time to figure it out and decide what we're gonna do. But
I think it's gonna be interesting. I think it'll definitely mix up the qualifiers.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, half of your days are. I guess technically a third of your days are going to be with no scope, but half of your first 2 day to qualify for the third day. So you as you've seen this year with the invitational qualifiers, you had to make the third day every single tournament to qualify. Yeah. So in that terms, it's going to be half of your days to qualify are going to be without scope. So it'll definitely diversify that. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see how that one plays out, but curious your guys' thoughts.
Yeah, what do you think about the invitational rule?
What do you think about all of it?
All of it.
Drop it down in the comment. What?
You have to do the rest of it.
There is no other.
Yeah.
That's it. There's no rules in the Toyotas, no rules in the BFLs, no rules in the college.
High school though.
High school, yes, it is banned. No use of forward facing in high school tournaments.
It is for practice. They're allowed to use it for practice, but not for competition.
Yeah.
Which I think.
But that doesn't affect us.
Well, I know, but it affects like the whole. Well, I know, but as a whole, that was one of the things.
If they let me sign up for a high school tournament, maybe I'd.
We're still trying to figure out how to get them into college classes.
No,
I'm kidding.
No, we're not. Well, we were just joking around. That's the only tournament that Major League Fishing offers, high school and college, that I don't have a trophy for. I haven't won, so.
Can't go back to high school.
Trying to finagle a way to get into a college tournament so we can add one of those trophies. But no, I think we'll pass on that. But anyway, appreciate you guys watching. Wanted to bring you a little video and give you our thoughts on this. Like I said, I think it's a good thing.
Yeah,
I think
am
it will
kind of
be
excited about it.
diversify, the equipment used, the patterns in play, and hopefully make it more entertaining for you guys to watch and learn, how we break down these fisheries and use our time throughout the day. But very interesting changes. I'm excited about it. I'm not going to lie. It kind of got me fired up and a little kick in the butt to get ready for 2025. So y'all stay tuned for more videos on the channel, and as we dive deeper into this and think about it more, we'll bring you some more updates as the rest of the year goes on. So
Yeah,
appreciate you watching.
We still have one more team series event, and then we'll do like a end of the year wrap up, plans for next year video. But watch that because the Brownie Boys are competing in that in November.
Yeah, we're back with the Summit Cup in November.
Super excited.
But we're off till then. So appreciate you guys watching. We're going to be spending some time on the water, knocking out some content for you guys. So stay tuned for all that, and we'll see you guys next time.